The definition of T1 recovery is the time at which 63% of our net magnetization is recovered. If we take a look at our recovery curve showing how our net magnetization builds either when we first put someone in the scanner or immediately after knocking down our net magnetization with our RF pulse, you see it grows at an exponential rate, leveling off at a maximum value given enough time. This is the highest potential we can attain for a given magnetic field strength. The higher the magnetic field, the higher this maximum value will be. So if this line represents the maximum value of our net magnetization, 100% of it, then this line would represent 63% of the maximum value. Notice that this 63% line intersects our curve here. So this time point here will represent the point at which 63% of the full net magnetization has recovered, which sounds like the definition of T1, doesn't it? But wait, you've probably also seen there's a formula for this T1 recovery process, given here. But if you look closely, we see both time and a time constant T1 here. So warning. Major confusion ahead. Like I did, you probably also either subconsciously or consciously realized there's something not quite adding up here. People are referring to T1 as a time, this time at which 63% of our net magnetization has recovered. But also they're giving this definition that it's a time constant, T1, the rate at which we recover our net magnetization. Shown in this graph is how this exponential is growing and then tapering off. That would be our T1 constant, dictating this process. So what is it? And where do we get the 63% value at? So what they're not telling you is that the definition of T1 is the point at which our time equals our T1 constant. Confused? Watch this. If we take our formula for T1 recovery and set the time during the recovery process equal to our growth constant T1, then substituting this in for T, we get T1 divided by T1 in this exponential, which equals 1, and e to the negative 1 equals 0.37. 1 minus that equals 0.63, or 63% of the maximum value of our net magnetization. So all three definitions of T1 are equal. It's the point in time where our time equals this T1 constant, which equals the point at which 63% of our net magnetization has recovered. Mind blown, right? So this is why you see all these terms used interchangeably.